I'm going to introduce our speaker, Brian Hall with LeeBoy. He's going to give us best practices for residential and commercial paving. And we started doing this about 10 years ago because people said not everybody paves highways. And so it's a very different thing. And I always learn a little lot when I hear Brian talk. So, well, I'll turn it over to Brian. He can tell you his experience.
Oh, thanks a lot, Kent. Welcome. Thanks a lot for showing up, guys. I know it's a lot to see and it's a lot to take in. How many is at their first ConExpo? What do you think? That's something else. I've been to 7. This is my 7th ConExpo, and I have to tell you, this is the most exciting ConExpo I've been, and I think it's mostly for the asphalt because that's what we're into, but for the technology and everything that's going into it now, it's really exciting, and I hope you like what you see. Like Kent said, my name's Brian Hall. I'm with LeeBoy Manufacturing. We're out of North Carolina. Again, the last thing that this is going to be is a LeeBoy commercial. So if you have anything that you'd like to ask me about our products, let's do it outside or do it on the show floor. I'll be here all through Saturday. We'd be glad to do that, but this is not a commercial for us. You will see all the pictures that I have are of our machines. I called all our competitors and said, hey, can you send me some pictures? And they told me to go pound sand. So there you go. That's the way those guys work. Kent told you about the cell phones. One other thing I'll ask you to do, that if you do fall asleep, don't snore too loud and disturb your neighbor. Typically, this is an hour-and-a-half presentation. We've condensed it down to an hour. And the office told me that I could have about 10 minutes over if I needed. But I've got 120 slides, so that's 30 seconds per slide. So if you've got any questions, I would ask that you hold them to the end. We do want to hear the questions that you've got or any comments that you have. If you'd like to come see me afterwards, that'd be great. If you'd like to see me on the show floor, I am signed in to the ConExpo app, so you can send me a message or find where I am. And if I can't answer your question, we'll certainly find somebody that can. So anyway, with that said, let's get started. As he said, this is best practices for residential and commercial paving. One thing that I've wanted to start out with is that I was doing a little research on this and came across this. It's a Blawnox paving manual. Does anybody recognize this from the old Blawnox Road Institute? This is about a 30-year-old document. So I said, well, let's have some laughs. Let's see how they did it 30 years ago. I'm in the glossary now, and it points out terms like free-floating screed, push roller, strike-offs, grade sensor. Guys, this isn't new. The first asphalt paver, self-propelled asphalt paver, was built in the 1930s by Barber and Green. It had push rollers, it had conveyors, it had a free-floating screed. This is not new stuff, guys. The technology has come a long way, but the geometry is still there. So let's see what we can do. What I want to do is point out some of this as the best practices. A lot of this stuff, if I gathered 100 contractors like maybe we have here and said, how would you pave a certain situation? I'd get 100 different answers and 99 of them are right. There's no one way to do it. But what I want to show you is the best ways to think about your job, okay? And if you go away learning one thing from this, then, hey, we've had time well spent today. And another question you're probably asking yourself is, what's this jackleg paver salesman can teach me? I'm an asphalt paver. I'm doing it every day, okay? He's just selling me the paver. Well, you're exactly right. Okay, you guys are the guys out there sweating. I'm the one sitting in the air conditioned drinking some water. I don't know how you do it. So anyway, but I do have an advantage over you guys is I'm on anywhere from 5 to 10 paving jobs a week with different customers. I can ask those guys questions and see how different guys are doing it. And that's what I've done is put together this presentation along with the help of a lot of industry professionals in this business to put this together to maybe help you. So hopefully you'll come out today with something that can help you. Okay? What we're going to discuss today, specific roles of each of your crew members, project planning, site, crew, and equipment preparation, understanding your paver, leveling and understanding your screed, tack coating, mat quality, compaction principles and techniques as it applies to a commercial application. This is not a roller school. I'm not going to teach you how to roll, but there are a few things that I think on the surface that you'll need to know. And finally, cleanup and transport. And I apologize, I am from the southeast. This dry weather is killing me. So if you don't mind, I'm going to try to save my voice. Okay. As we saw before, a lot of things have changed, but it's still the same. These are some pictures from, on the left, from my Blawnox paving manual. You've got a tractor, hopper, push roller, screed, and they haven't changed. It hasn't changed. The principle hasn't changed of the free-floating screed. So let's not overthink it, okay? All right, let's talk about our paving crew members. We're going to talk about each of these guys individual. Truck drivers, the dump man, paver operator, screed operator, loop person, laborer and shovel man, and your roller operator, okay? First guy we're going to talk about is the truck driver. Got any truck drivers in here? Good, let's talk about them. You can tell them now you're a professional truck driver and you can tell them how to do it, okay? Because he's the smartest man on the job site. So you want to be able to talk on his level, correct? Okay. We're going to talk about his responsibilities: proper loading of the haul truck, tarping the load, proceeding safely to the job site staging area, lining up in front of the paver, keeping your truck centered in front of the paver, pay attention to your dump man, stop just short of the paver. We're going to spend a little time on that because that's one of the biggest things I see when I'm on the job site, and exit quickly and proceed to the clean out area. Okay? As we know, you get your asphalt in a 3-dump package, right? Okay, first dump, second dump, third dump. What it does is, first dump's in the front, second dump's in the center, third dump locks everything into place. What does it do? Prevents segregation. If you had a 1-dump load, the bigs are going to break and run, and you've got segregation before you even put it into the paver. Okay? So that's why you're looking at your 3-dump load. Most of your plants have the marks for your truck driver to stop and back up and go. So typically not a big deal, but that's why we do it. Prevents your segregation. Tarp every load. Sounds like common sense, right? You're going to tarp the load. You don't want anything flying out of your truck, of course, right? Well, we do it for another reason, of course. Not only for safety and insurance claims, but if you don't have a tarp, you're losing a lot of heat before you get to the job site. I mean, I know you guys usually pave within, 5 miles of a plant, right? Your trucks aren't on the road all day. That's not the case with most of us. But you can see on the left, this infrared picture shows, I believe that says about 292 degrees coming out of the silo into the truck. This truck has made it to the job site in the paver with no tarp. He's already down to 142 degrees on his crust. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you that if you tarp your load, you're going to get to the job site at 290 degrees, but you're not going to lose that heating on there. You're insulated in the center, but you do have cold crust on the top. So put that tarp on the load, keep that wind off of your fresh asphalt. I'm talking about other people here. This is not you guys, okay? But you got to watch what's overhead, okay? You don't want to have to stop a job because we've lost power in the whole city block, right? Okay, so just make sure that when he's cleaning out his truck, he knows what's up there and he's not tearing down any power poles, blocking traffic, and ending up on the 5 o'clock news on Channel 7, right? You don't need that kind of, they say any publicity is good publicity. Not that, okay? Distracted truck driver. And again, I'm talking about your other guys. You got this guy talking to the truck driver about what bar he's going to tonight. This guy's talking on the cell phone. And, you got this guy saying, hey, when are you going to get out of my way, right? No good. What happens when that truck driver is not paying attention to what he's doing? Again, we're talking about other people, not you guys. But anybody ever seen this? It's never happened to any of y'all, right? Okay. That's good. Truck driver loses his brakes, takes his foot off the brakes for a second. Guess what? There you go. And if that truck driver was on my crew, he would have a shovel in his hand and everybody else would be taking a break, right? Okay. What about this guy? Takes a little while for you to figure out what it is. Parking stobs. He went out on a job in the weekend removing some parking stobs, put them in the back of his dump truck. dump the asphalt on top of it, and now it's in the paver. This guy is amused. We have made his day. Real stuff, man. I can't make it up. Can't make it up. Make sure your driver is not holding the brakes, okay? You can see what happened. Of course, this is an old Blawnox drawing, but, you know, spinning your tires, messing up your mat. Don't hold your brakes, okay? Make sure he can push the truck, but still stay in contact with the paver, okay? Okay, now we're going to talk about the dump man, okay? A lot of guys may not have the luxury of having the dump man right here, but this guy, what he's going to do is safely direct the the trucks into the dump position, collect the load tickets, okay, so we can see how our yield is going, okay? Talk a little bit more about yield later, but you need to keep up with how much asphalt versus how much you budgeted is going down on the ground. Be aware of safety around the paver. Overhead obstructions, shovel men, you don't want anybody walking in front, okay? Safely direct the truck into the paver without making contact. I got a little video on that I'll show you here in a second. Keep the paver hopper properly loaded with material, and always keep the hopper 25% full of material. If you are waiting on another truck, keep your hopper 25% full of material. We'll discuss that a little bit later. And communicate with the truck driver and paver operator, okay? Keep the line of communication going. Don't let the truck bump the paver. We're all guilty of that, right? Don't lie, I know you are, okay? What happens when that truck bumps into the paver? You get a line in your mat that you're not going to roll out, okay? You're going to have to fix that. You can see where your extension and main screed are. You can see what's happening there. I've got a video I want to show you about with this customer how it's going. Truck's backing up, truck's almost there, but the paver starts moving forward to meet the truck, okay? Always pave to the truck, okay? Signaling to the truck, we got our asphalt coming, we're all set. Fair enough? Whoops. Okay, now let's talk about our paver operator, okay? This is your quarterback on your team, right? He's directing a lot of guys. His responsibility, safely operate the paver and lay down the asphalt. I want this guy to be in charge of job site layout. He's driving the paver. He needs to know that when we finish with this cutout, we're going here next, not have to stop and decide, okay? So you want him to lay out the job. Control the pace of paving. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but we're all guilty of paving as fast as we can. Take a break, okay? We need to control the pace of paving based on the trucks that we've got. Understand and use the instrument panel, pretty common sense. Communicate with the dump person and screed operator. Now our chain of communication is still intact, okay? Select the paving speed that matches the job conditions. As I said before, we're not going to pave full speed, then take a break. And keep a consistent head of material in front of your screed, okay? Our next guy is our screed operator. Okay, we're moving down. I got a question for you. In this picture here on the left, you've got a left-hand screed operator and a right-hand screed operator. Who can tell me who is the most important man on the back of that screed? Well, who's got the most important job? This side? Okay, we'll take a poll. Who says this side? Got 2 or 3. Who says this man right here? Okay. The last group that was the majority is correct. This man on this side is matching what this man did before, right? So if he laid 2 inches here, he's going to lay 2 inches there. If this man is off by 2.5 inches here, not only is he off by 1/2 inch, not only is he wasting asphalt on that side, but now he's going to have to match it at 2.5 inches again. Did I convince you? Okay. So, that's how that story goes. Okay. Screed operator's responsibility, understand the basic principles of paving. Free-floating screed, angle of attack, grade and slope. Control your yield. Everybody knows your yield is the amount of asphalt you're putting on the ground. It must equal what your estimator has said, what the quote says, okay? No more, no less. Okay, so we need to control that yield and make sure that we're okay during the paving process. Work with the paver operator to understand the job layout. Set up your screed and adjust your screed. Proper heating of the screed. Lay a consistent textured mat as required. Joint construction, which we'll talk about. And keep the screed clutter-free without shovels, paint, string everywhere. Everybody's guilty of that. Okay, but keep it clear just so nobody's tripping and falling into the hot asphalt. Windmill Johnny. Anybody ever seen Windmill Johnny? Who knows Windmill Johnny? Anybody got a Windmill Johnny? Yep. Okay. We're gonna talk about him a little bit here, and I'll explain it in the second half of why Windmill Johnny needs his hands slapped. Okay. What I mean by Windmill Johnny is your screed operator that looks down, makes an adjustment, rides a little bit, looks again, makes it again the other way. Okay, he's just justifying his job. Okay, keep his hand off of the depth screw. If you're on grade, if your paving speed hasn't changed, if your mix hasn't changed, there is no reason to touch the screw. Okay, anybody disagree with me? All right, thank you. Good, we're going smooth now. All right, I want to show you a video, and I've stopped it. I'm going to start it here and again because what's happening here, okay, to show a man not touching the screed. We're doing a new subdivision here in Georgia, and you've got the screed operator here, and he's watching, watching what's going on, checking his depths. And a lot of screed operators that I've seen, when they see this manhole coming up, they are going to lose their mind. They're going to start jacking and jacking up and down. They're going to lose their mind. I want you to watch, if I can get him to go, I want you to watch my screed man here, okay? Checking his depth, everything's good. Hands free. Manhole comes up, cover the manhole, all's good. He's taking the time to make sure that he's on grade, he's got plenty of material in there, and he's not making any changes, okay? Beautiful, beautiful work. Okay? All right, let's talk about our loot and rake man. He is the last person to touch the asphalt before rolling. Okay, his job is to seal the joint and do not rake the larger aggregate over the mat. Okay, I see it every day. They're pounding the edge. He's raking those bigs over there. They should come off. Okay? When the roller hits it, those bigs should be off the mat. Okay? Correct any of the defects in the mat and responsible for the handwork so that when the roller man comes, everything's nice and smooth. He prepares the joint for the joint matching, and he's also going to assist in the cleaning of the paver. All right, then you've got the roller operator. Again, we'll talk a little bit about rolling later, but then you've got your roller operator, and then like a symphony, everybody's got a job. Everybody does their job and working together, okay? All right. Now we're going to start planning for our paving job. Okay, we're not ready to pave yet. Our estimators have answered the sales call. We're going to go out and look at the job. Okay, so we're going to start planning. Okay, bidding the job. Make sure your estimators take everything into consideration. You know, if he's just going to go length times width times depth on this one, you're going to go broke. Okay, just make sure that if we got to take everything out, regrade and everything, that everything is taken into consideration because it is all about the bottom line. This is kind of a funny slide, but just make sure that you're communicating with everybody that's paving, and the cars are out of the way and whatever, because you don't want this to happen. No, nobody wants this. This is one of the few things in this that I want you to take away and plan with your crew. Always, always, always. Take the time, bring them in 30 minutes early for a pre-job meeting. What are we going to discuss? We're going to discuss what happened yesterday, how we really did a good job at this, but we fell short of this. Now, and you're going to assign tasks. Okay, for example, I told you about the paver operator. The paver operator is in charge of laying out the job. What I didn't tell you is that he is not in charge of painting the lines, laying the string, things like that. He is in charge of that. You need somebody else doing that because Murphy's Law says that while he's out there painting the lines, a half mile down the road, your asphalt trucks are going to show up. okay? So assign those jobs and make sure everybody has a specific job. They do their job, nobody else's job, so everything's smooth when that asphalt gets to the job site. Okay? You're talking about, and then also you're talking about your safety. How are we going to set up our cones? How are we going to set up all of our roadblocks? Do you have the guys for your flagmen? Are they ready? Leave nothing to chance, okay? I've got a customer up in northern Tennessee that has a meeting at his office every morning. They have everything written down. They're going to this job. We're going to take this long at this job. Then we're going to go down this road, stop at McDonald's on the way and get breakfast, then stop here. Nothing's left to chance, okay? Do you have to take it to that extreme? That's up to you, okay? Work zone safety. I'd fire this guy just on principle, right? Make sure you've got the right clothes, okay? You can't be out here working in asphalt with no shirt and short pants on. At least he did wear steel-toed shoes, right? So anyway, you got these guys, they got their safety vests, their hard hats, long sleeves, okay? Work boots, sunscreen. You got to be ready for the job. You don't want anybody to have any surprises and get messed up during the day. Any owners of your company out here today? All right, what I want to do is take you, and even if you're not, I want you to take this back to your owner as a challenge. I want you to call your insurance provider, and I want you to tell him, as of today, I'm requiring my guys to wear hard hats and safety vests and steel-toed boots. See what happens to your insurance rates. Example, anybody ever been to the Cracker Barrel for lunch and seen a electrical truck? I use AT&T as an example. What's in front of every AT&T truck? Safety cone. You think they do it just because they got a stock in the safety cone business? It saves them millions in insurance. So you tell the guys, this is what we're going to do. We've got a safety plan in place. What can you do for me? Okay? Use common sense. Don't walk in front of the paver when the truck's backing up. Okay? Don't walk between the truck and the paver. Don't spray down your machine if you've got propane burners and they're lit. I had one guy that said it's not hot until a big black fire comes up. You know, come on, let's use common sense. Don't talk on your cell phone while operating the paver. I realize you got to call the plant sometimes. Stop the paver, make sure everything's safe, okay? You don't want to have to stop your job just because you've got to call an ambulance to your job site. Know your job site. We didn't stage this. This guy had, I mean, you look, it's a brand new paver of ours. He was paving in front of these storage units and didn't know there was an underground basement there. Fell straight through, okay? Know what's going on at your job site. Watch out for your coworkers. That's the jokes, guys, so live with it or not. Safety decals. If you paint your machine, replace the safety decals, okay? We've got plenty. All manufacturers have plenty, and they'll tell you where they go. You must demand, and I should have emphasized demand, a qualified startup whenever you require training, whether it's a new machine, whether you've got a new crew. Whenever you need training, call your dealer, call your manufacturer and say, I need help. Okay, can you spend a day? As manufacturers, that's the best part of our job. If we come out there and show you how to run this machine properly, what every function's for, to help you become more profitable. That's what we love to do. Don't feel like you're bothering anybody. We love it. Okay? Okay, start with a daily routine on all your equipment. What I've done is just cut a sheet from our service manual. You make up your own list. Okay? Pre-start inspection. Okay? Make sure that your fire extinguisher, first aid kit, check your hydraulic hoses, check your engine and transmission. Have a checklist. More importantly, if you see any defects, leaking hydraulics, red tag it until it's fixed. Okay, I've seen too many fires on the job site because we said, oh, we're going to be okay. Okay, make sure that anything that requires immediate attention is taken care of. Okay, now we're going to talk about planning on the project. Okay, couple things we'll discuss: the tonnage required for the job, how wide you're going to pave, specifications of your job, and the grade conditions. Okay, first we'll talk about asphalt tonnage. There's some things you got to know. You know how many tons are going to be required for a specific job. It's part of the bidding process, right? Part of the quoting process. Okay, so some of the things now that you have to take into consideration is, what's the output of your hot plant that you're going to use? Okay, are they going to be able to fulfill your needs, or are they running the right kind of material for you that day? Or maybe they're just producing for their own crews that day. You don't want to be surprised. My suggestion, call them the day before. Everything okay? Oh no, I'm sorry, XYZ contractor. We've had to take our plant down for some maintenance. We're not going to be able to, and then you're not caught. You can go to the next guy and do it. So see how your hot plant's putting out that day. How far are you going to have to travel? Okay? Where are you going to have to travel? Traffic conditions. You're going to have to come through school zones. Okay? Through cities. How long is it going to take to get from the plant to the job site, and how many trucks do I have running? Quick calculations, okay, to see how fast those trucks are going to be turning over. Non-stop paving is the key, okay? Avoid stop-and-go paving. See it too many times. Let's pave as fast as we can, and then if we have to, we'll sit under a tree, okay? Sometimes it can't be avoided, but what I'm asking you to do is make those calculations, and as the paver operator, take a look at your watch, okay? Next truck should be coming in 15 minutes. Need to speed up or slow down so you can keep those trucks turning, okay? So you can keep moving and not have to stop and give the asphalt a chance to cool. Now, you might have to stop. Like I said, you can't avoid it. And this is what I was telling you before. I want you to leave your hopper a third full of asphalt, okay? Why is this? Two reasons. Number one, it's still got the same head of material in front of your screed. You haven't given your screed a chance to fall, okay, by starving the asphalt. Number two, as we talked about with the trucks, okay, you've got a mound of asphalt right there, okay, you're going to get a crust on the top of cool asphalt. It is going to insulate what's under it, but the crust will be cool. When that new asphalt hits it, it's going to warm it back up and you're ready to pave. Okay, so if you have to stop, don't starve the machine. Okay? Order asphalt in tons and not truckloads. Plant doesn't know how big your truck is. Okay? Communication is the key with planning. You want to make sure you see these guys paving the city street, plenty of trucks ready to go, and they're ready for the day. Okay? Let me go back and talk a little bit about that last one just a second. When you're talking to the asphalt plant, okay, and I'm sorry, I may repeat this later, but I want to go ahead and say it. When you're talking to the asphalt plant, if you've got a 500-ton job to do today, tell the asphalt plant, I've got a 500-ton job, but I'm going to order 250 tons. Okay, why would you do that? Well, you never know what's going to happen. Okay, that gives you paving up until lunchtime. A rogue thunderstorm might come up to stop paving. Okay, you may have an equipment failure that causes you to have to stop paving. Okay, halfway through the morning, close to lunchtime, you say, hey, everything's going great. Call the plant. I'm going to need that other 250 tons. Okay, get it ready, get it in the silo. So, you put 500 tons in the silo, thunderstorm comes up, you call up the plant and say, nope, not going to need it, give it to somebody else. Again, he's going to tell you to pound sand, right? All right, how wide are we going to pave? Do we need screed extensions? Okay, do we need auger extensions to properly feed those screed extensions? Okay, this job that we're paving here is is at a storage facility where it's 15 feet between. Typically you're not going to pave 15 feet, but in some cases you would. Okay, so what's it going to say? Here's another question for you. I've got a scenario. This is softball. You got a 30-foot pass with a 15-foot paver, 8 to 15-foot paver. What's the best way to pave to achieve the best results? Go ahead. 3/10s, exactly. You got a 15-foot screed, right? You can pave 2 15s, but you'll get a better job and you'll do it faster if you pave 3/10s. That's a softball. Okay? Job site layout. How many of you guys are using grade and slope these days? Becoming more and more popular. Okay? take the time to set up your grade and paving pass width. You can see right here, these guys are, this is your new TopCon P32 system, and running it on a string line. You know, right here, these guys have marked off their paint lines, so they know exactly where to pave, okay? You've got your paving guide running those paint lines, so you're all prepared, okay? Setting up your grade control equipment, like I said, it's getting more and more popular, it seems, even on the commercial side. I've got, and I threw this page in there, again, 40 years ago, same thing, the only thing that's changed is the sonics on the system. Okay, but you see this video here of kind of how it works. This one's running on a string line, okay? This is sensing the distance between the string line and the sensor. So if the grade changes, it's going to make automatic changes to your toe points, okay? Just one more thing that the operator doesn't have to worry about is that depth screw. Now he can take his hands off the depth screw, and if any changes need to be made, these are going to make it, okay? Or you've got a contacting ski. We sell a couple of these a year. You can see what's going on here. I threw this in because people talk about contacting skis but really don't know what they are. You can see right here, this actual ski that's running on the ground right there between his legs is attached to the front of the paver. This one's attached to the back of the paver. So you're turning your machine into basically a 20-foot machine. Okay, there's a string running in between both of those. So when the grade changes, this sensor is going to pick up that grade change and give you a bigger average over that ski. Okay, the bigger pavers, the highway pavers, are going to use a TopCon ski, a non-contact ski, to do the same thing. But this is what the contacting ski does. And you can see again, here's your forerunner of the old contacting ski. They're just not rectangle back and forth jobs anymore. You know, Walmart parking lots have got cutouts. Some of them have parallel parking along with the angled parking. They're just not easy anymore, okay? Now what I'm going to tell you is, again, if there's 100 contractors in here, you give me 100 different ways to start this job, and 99 of them are right, okay? But there's just a few things that still prevail. The fewest number of tie-ins, okay? You're paving these parking lots, these parking spots. You don't want to make 10 short pulls out. You're making one long pull and then one out, right? That's common sense. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Where are your trucks coming in and out? Okay? On this example, you know, they got to come in here, come out here. So you don't want to block those trucks. Give them a place to come in and out. And one of the things that just a rule of thumb, pave your way out. Okay? The last pull, in my opinion, comes straight out this way. Your trucks are sitting here waiting to put your equipment on, and you're set to go. You don't have to go, you know, either over the grass or over already paved asphalt. Pave your way out. Okay? Just have a plan. Nobody starts a paving job by just showing up and say, let's go to work. Okay? Now, again, about project layout. Okay? You got this guy. Wonder why he did this. Paved all the way here, skipped this one, and came all the way over here. What's going on with that? Well, just what I said. He paved his way out. Okay, that was his way out. Okay, now he's ready to start on the rest of the job. So just have the plan, not to paint yourself in a corner, basically is what I'm saying. What are your grade conditions? Okay, do you have to put a leveling course? How many bumps are there? Low spots, transitions, crack filling. You know, right here you got a bunch of ruts from trucks in a hot area. Okay, potholes, alligator cracks. Okay, you have to do any crack filling. Okay, take these things into consideration before you just try to cover them up with black asphalt. Okay, manhole risers. This is something I've added in here because I've been seeing too many guys not doing it. Okay, take the time to put your manhole risers in there, just so you don't build a speed bump. You know, two things are going to happen. It's a low quality paving job, but every time a car hits that manhole, if you don't put the manhole riser in, it's going to stress the sewer system and you're going to end up paying for it. Okay, put your manhole riser in there, and then you get a nice quality job. Everything's nice and flush. Okay. All right. let's understand the finished product and then we'll get into a little bit more. Down on the bottom, your native subgrades, whatever's underneath, okay, subgrade. Your aggregate base course. Then you've got an asphalt base course. Typically when we say base course, it's a little, a little bigger rock, okay, doesn't cost as much and gives you good drainage through, okay. Surface course, a sandier mix, okay, nice wearing course, and then of course a concrete curb. All right, let's talk about understanding the paver. Okay, this paver really is two parts, okay, a tractor and a screed. Think of them as two separate parts. That screed should always be in the float mode. When I say float, I mean it should be the cylinders should be in the detent position that hold the screed, okay? That gives it free to rise and fall based on any grade conditions, okay? It gives you a smooth surface over an irregular grade, okay? Every day, I want you guys to set up your screed, and what it is I just say zero it out. Make sure everything's nice and flat. Check and adjust your flight screws, should be even on both sides. Check and adjust your extensions, making sure they're not falling down, okay? Make sure that whatever crown, if you're paving with a crown or valley, that you set it, or is it at zero, okay? Zero out your electric screws. And when I mean electric screws, that's your toe point controls, okay? We'll talk a little bit about the importance of that. Set up and check your automatic grade controls if you're using those things, and set the end gates to meet your job requirements. Spray your screed before lighting burners. Now, when I say spray your screed, of course, nobody in this room uses diesel. You use your approved release agent, right? Okay. Just want to make sure we're all EPA friendly, right? We're too close to California. Okay. Setting up your screed, just make sure your extension is in line with your main screed. Angle of attack is consistent on both sides. Crown and valley is set to the correct value, and your toe point adjustments are at zero. Every paver manufacturer, no matter what, has the procedure for setting up your screed. Basically, fit, form, and fashion is the same way, okay? But there might be the locations for the adjustments might be in different places. Talk to your manufacturer about what's going on, okay? Now, we talked about zeroing out your toe points, okay? So I use this example. I've got my LeeBoy Hummer here, right? Coming out to the race in Las Vegas this weekend, so we're bringing our camper. We're from the South, we got to have our big truck tires, right? So we're bringing our camper. What's the problem here? Okay? My camper's sitting at an angle. What's going to happen here? Okay? We're going to put pressure on that back tire, and I'm going to blow out before I even get to the racetrack, right? So what do we do to fix this? Go ahead. Drop hitch, right? So everything's nice in line. I use this example for setting up your screed and your toe points, that the same thing happens, that if you've got your toe points with your screed resting back, you're putting too much pressure on the back side of your screed, and you're going to wear out that screed plate prematurely, okay? Make sense to everybody? Hopefully you liked my redneck four-wheel drive analogy. Always, schedule inspection and maintenance is the key. Follow the maintenance and safety guidelines. That's the key to keeping your paver going. Keep it clean, keep it maintained, and it will make you money for a long time. All right, let's talk about tack coating. Kent and I were talking about tack coating earlier today. He was criticizing me on my video that it wasn't tacked right, and he was exactly right. Why do you tack coat? I threw this little cartoon that I found in here. Basically, it's the glue that holds the new asphalt to the old asphalt. All tack is an emulsified asphalt, which is liquid asphalt mixed with water. Okay? He's buying drinks. There's a lot of ways guys tack coat nowadays. Asphalt distributor. Most popular is your portable tack tank. And then you got this guy with the Walmart flower pot. That's the worst way. Okay, but I've seen it. Pine tops. Anybody ever tacked with a pine top? Okay. So why do you tack coat? Basically, you've got old oxidized asphalt with new asphalt going over. You want to make sure that it doesn't slip. Okay? Good coverage. You get a good triple lap coverage. Basically, what I'm saying is these nozzles are on a 30-degree angle. So when they spray, first two cover this way, the one beside it covers this way, so you get a nice triple coverage. If you've got clogged nozzles, you're not going to get that coverage, as you can see right there. Okay? How much is enough and how much is too much? I was on this job 3 weeks ago with a big county in my territory. He had a tack tank, portable tack tank, and he was just dribbling it out just to say he did it. Okay? You might as well have not, really. Okay? How much is too much? Well, the rule of thumb, 95% of your surface must be tack coated. Okay? Some guys say, oh no, we set it real low and dribble it out of the back of our distributor truck. Doesn't do the job. What are the consequences? Raveling, we're seeing this on interstates every day. Okay? Raveling, slippage at mostly county roads, long stretches of county roads, especially in my territory where it's nice and hot, at a stop sign where big trucks push that asphalt. Okay? Or the other end is bleeding. You can see that too much tack has come through the asphalt. Not only does it not look good, but it takes away your friction surface and makes for an unsafe pavement. Okay? I'm not talking to y'all, but be careful. Okay? Mistakes are expensive. Okay, now we're ready to pave. We've prepared our machine. It's time to pave. Okay? How deep do you pave? Now, rule of thumb says you pave 3 times the size of your smallest aggregate. Okay? Some rule of thumb is twice the size of your larger aggregate. I say it's probably going to get you the same thing. Okay? So, what happens if you're paving too thin for the size of aggregate in your asphalt? It starts breaking rock, as we call it in my area, right here. Okay? Your screed is cutting that rock, okay, causing the white spots right there. You're not getting the quality of pavement that you need. Okay? All right. How do we start from the right depth? There's 3 ways. These guys, and this is the toughest, starting from 0. Okay? What he's done now is he set his screed on the ground, flat on the ground, put a little upward angle of attack on it, and pulled up so you get a nice transition. Takes a lot of practice. Okay? More popular is you build a starting pad. Okay, I got a video that kind of shows how that does. Okay, we've dropped a load of asphalt right here. Now our screed guy, or our loop man, is going to come and spread it out to the desired depth of our project. Okay, where it might be 1.5 inches, might be 2 inches on this overlay. Okay, so he's got that done. He's got it down. Now the paver is going to back up and set his screed in float on there and pull out. Okay? Now he's ready to go. Built a starting pad, set to go. Easy enough. Some of you guys may like to use starting blocks. Okay? Get at the right depth, set your screed down on the starting blocks, and pull off your starting blocks. Now I've got a video that shows that too, but I want to pause it for a second okay, I want you to watch the screed man on the right, what he's getting ready to do. They're getting ready to pull forward, okay? And what he's doing is putting a little upward angle of attack into the screed, okay? And I'll show you why. Watch. I want you to watch the boards as he pulls off, okay? That screed wants to fall. Watch. See him? Screed wants to fall as it comes off those boards. So what he's done is he's given the angle of attack to adjust for that screed falling off those boards, right? What I do if I'm paving, which I don't regularly, but if I'm paving, what I'll do is I'll float the screed and to the boards, and then I'll take it out of float, okay? Then I'll pull forward until I see asphalt coming out the back, then I'll put it in float. That kind of holds that depth. Either way is okay, it's just practice for you. Okay? Starting the pull, find the null point in your screed. That's where there's no pressure up or down on the screed. And then you give it a crank until you hear resistance, till you feel resistance, and that introduces the angle of attack. Okay? Now, this is where your money's worth comes in, because I'm going to go through a series of things that affect the screed. This is where Mr. Windmill Johnny comes in. The paver and screed operator's got to understand what's happening every time he changes the speed, angle of attack, or head of material. Okay? Here's your screed. These are the factors affecting the screed. You know, nothing groundbreaking here. Okay? Pulling force, the weight of the screed, resistance of the asphalt, reaction of the material, resistance of the material, auger speed, you know, everything that happens. Okay? Now, if you're at a constant speed, the shear factor remains constant. What do I mean by that? That's how this extension or main screed is shearing off the asphalt and sending it under the screed. That shear factor remains constant, your depth remains constant at a constant speed. Okay, what happens if you speed up? Okay, basically your screed's going to dive. That shear factor decreases and your screed's going to dive. Opposite's also true. You slow down, your screed's going to rise. That's why it's important to keep that constant speed as you're paving. Okay? Angle of attack adjustments. Okay? What happens is you increase your angle of attack by turning your depth screw, more material passes under your screed and rises to a new level. Think of it like an airplane wing. Okay? Goes up, more air passes under, plane rises. Okay? One guy told me at the last trade show I was with, a paver screed is like spreading butter on toast. And I thought about it a minute, and he's exactly right. You've got a lot of butter right here, and you're spreading it out. That's exactly what he's doing. Okay? Screed reaches a new height, achieves equilibrium, and resumes the original angle of attack. Okay? Rises up. Here's the money. Here's Windmill Johnny. Screed reacts to a change in depth over 5 toe arm lengths, right? 65% of that is in the first toe arm length, 35% is in the last 4 toe arm length. Doesn't matter whose paver you're using. This is just simple geometry. That's why you see the guy turning it, and he looks, and he's turning it back, and he's looking, he's not doing a thing. Okay? He's got to give the screed time to work, okay, to do what it's supposed to do. Okay? I threw this in. This is from my 1970s paving manual. Tells you the same thing. Nothing's changed. Okay? Let's talk about head of material. What's correct head of material? I always say 3/4 up on your screed. Okay? So the correct head of material gives you a resistance against the screed and gives you a constant depth. Okay? You decrease your head of material, your depth decreases. That's why I want you to keep your hopper full if you have to wait. Okay? And if you increase the head of material, your screed's going to rise. Okay? All of these things put together keeps a nice even depth and keeps Windmill Johnny off the depth screw. Okay? This is why I have the most respect for the guys that run tilt hopper pavers, if anybody ever does. Because that machine is designed to run out of mix. Okay, so you've got to be even more cognizant of your screed dropping. Okay? Controlling your yield. Don't just take one measurement, take a series of measurements, because you don't know what's under there. You don't know if you're hitting a big rock or falling into a valley. Don't make adjustments based on one measurement. Okay, let's talk about joint construction. Okay, you can see the one here on the left. Nice joint, nothing's failing. Same road here, you can see what's happening here. Okay? Or, worst case, you got this guy. Okay? He's going to take a penalty for this. Okay, let's talk about hot joints. What do I mean by hot joints? Okay, you're paving a parking lot, you've made a pass, you're ready to come back and make another pass right next to what you've done. Hot joints. Okay? Keep your roller off the edge of that pass 6 to 8 inches. Don't let him touch this part right here. Okay? Set the end gate flush with the screed extension and spray the end gate frequently, or use a heated end gate is even better. Overlap that previous pass 2 to 3 inches, usually the width of your end gate. Adjust up or down with the manual electric screw or use an automatic joint matcher, okay? You can see what's happening here in, I hope, there he is. Come on. Okay, you see what's happened here? He stayed off that right there. He's matching that hot joint. Now when the roller passes, everything's kneaded together real nice and you won't have any joint failures, okay? But just keep him off of that. Keep your roller man off of that till the next joint is made. Okay, cold joint. What do I mean by cold joint? We're out paving on a county road. We've paved 2 miles today. Can't pave any more today. We're going to roll it all in because you can't leave it unrolled on the edge like we would before. Roll it all in, go home, get ready for the next day. Okay? Same type principle, but you're going to overlap by about a couple inches. But what you've got to do is come up a little higher. Of course, rule of thumb is for every inch of asphalt that you're paving, leave a 1/4 inch for compaction. So if you're paving 2 inches, you're going to roll it down to 1.5 inches. Okay? So whatever it is, just allow for that compaction. And you can see in this drawing here kind of what I've said there. Cold lane here. Okay? Here's your joint overlap. You've got this extra material for compression. Low density area here. Now, I've had a lot of discussions with people about the best way to start rolling this. My opinion might not be yours and it might not be right, but I would start rolling on this edge. The reason I do that is it pinches everything in here and creates that nice tight joint. Okay? Some people have different opinions on that, but that's the way I would do it. There's just a graphic that kind of shows you what's going on there. You've got a little higher there, and that's going to roll in to give you a nice compacted cold joint. Paving in a circle. I've been with guys that spent all day doing a cul-de-sac and still didn't get it right. Again, there's 1,000 different ways to do it. I'm going to show you how I would do it. Okay? First off, we're going to cut it in half. Okay? We're going to pave out here, but leave this as a hot joint right here for the next pass. Okay? Then we're going to come, boom, 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 pave out. Okay? Overlapping each way. Okay? Still got hot joints all around. Then we're going to come over to the other side, do the same thing, whoops, and pave our way out. Fair enough? Again, 100 different ways to do it, but just have a plan. I've seen guys, like I said, spend it all day and just screw it up. Okay. Imperfect overlays. Now what I've got here is a rutted surface, okay? We have to come through and pave over this. So what are we going to do? We're going to pave over it, and it's all nice and flat, right? Well, what's going to happen as soon as the roller hits it? Everybody knows it's softball. Everybody knows that's what it's going to look like, right? So what do? How do you fix it? Okay? There's a couple ways. Number one, you can bring your $1 million milling machine out there and mill it out, right? We all got one of those sitting in the backyard. Okay, but if you do have access to that, mill it down, get it to that nice flat surface, and pave over it. What most of the guys are going to do is going to do a leveling course, scratch course, wedge course, whatever you call it. Okay, we're just going to fill in the gaps, right? Keep your paver on line. You can see this guy's all over the place. Last one I did said, I don't know what's wrong with that. That looks pretty good. Keep it on line. And I'm going to show you an example. All of our pavers have steering guides. Now, look at this one. This was on our 8616 paver. It's jointed right here. But what I see a lot of guys doing is just pulling it out, dropping it right there so he can see it right there. What I want you to do is take it and pull it all the way forward as far as you can forward. And I'll give you an example why. It's like when there's a bunch of hunters, okay? How do we fire a rifle? How do we sight our rifle? Is our sights on our rifle right next to each other? No. One's close to you, one's far away. That allows you to aim better. Same way here. The farther you're looking down at your painted line, at your curb line or whatever, the straighter you're going to pave, okay? Okay, let's talk a little bit about rolling. A couple types of rollers, steel drum, rigid frame, whichever way is fine just as long as your operator's comfortable with it, okay? Pneumatic rolling. I'm going to ask you to consider pneumatic rolling as one of your best practices. It's essential to your top quality paving jobs. I'll explain why. You can see right here, as in the motion of travel going this way, you can see how that pneumatic roller doesn't compact straight down, okay? It needs the material. Imagine that there's another one right next to it. It's going to need that material in together, giving you better density and a better quality product. You break down with a steel roller, intermediate rolling with a pneumatic roller, and finish again with a steel roller, because more than likely you're going to have tire marks, okay? So finish it off, smooth it out. Top quality paving gives you with pneumatic rolling. Real easy, 3 phases of compaction, okay? Primary compaction, and again, finish rolling gives you a nice smooth surface. But basically what you're doing is you're getting density, okay? What is density? It's the amount of asphalt to air ratio that's in the mix after rolling, okay? The reason you don't want air, potholes. Water gets in there, it breaks down, okay? Give your roller man a sense of urgency, okay? I've heard it from some of the old timers said, oh, you got to let the asphalt cure. That's not the case. Get him on it, okay? Today's asphalt mixes, as soon as they come out of the back of the paver, you can get him going, okay? Let him ride. Make sure everything's in good operating order. You can see, it's kind of hard to see on here, but this guy wasn't putting water down on his drum, and you can see what's happening. It's picking up the asphalt. Some guys even put dish soap in their water, okay? Think about it. After we change the oil in our car, we come in, get some dishwashing liquid, oil's gone. Same thing happens here. Keeps the oil off of your rollers. Proper rolling pattern, okay? This is assuming that there's no hot or cold joints. Again, 8 passes. 1 up, back, up and back, across, and then out. Okay? How fast do you roll? Okay, let's get, again, we're going to pave as fast as we can so we can get done. Okay? Be patient. At 1 mile an hour, on this, you can see that you're getting, and you're imagining that this is frequency of hits on the asphalt. Okay? You're hitting it 6 times. Well, logic says we double that, we're going to cut our hits in half. Okay? And again, you're only hitting it a couple times here. I've got a better graphic for you here that says if we're going to roll at 300 feet a minute versus 500 feet a minute, we're going to get the same density right here after 2 passes with the 300 feet a minute as we did with 6 passes at 500 feet a minute. Okay? Take your time. Let the roller work for you. Rolling against the curb. I had put this in here and discussed as a worst practice. Then I started asking people, I said, you know, why is this guy rolling like this? This curb is going to hold up the asphalt, is going to hold up the roller, and this part's not going to get compacted, right? And it's going to fail. Well, my guy told me, he says, think about what you're trying to do. Okay? You've taken the time to pave and grade so that water travels in the right direction. You want it to flow all the way to the curb, right? If you roll right here, you're going to leave a ridge, and it's not going to make it, your water's not going to make it to the curb. So think about what you're doing. What I would suggest as a best practice here is have your end gate as it's coming through here a little bit tilted up so more asphalt passes under that end gate and gives you a little bit more asphalt for compaction right there so no failures happen. Okay, fair enough? Parking your roller on the asphalt. You see it all the time. I've always wondered why. Okay, you've got this guy parked parallel with the job, but best practices says, let's put it at a 45-degree angle. The best example of this as I can get is if I had a block of clay and a rolling pin here, and I put a dent in that clay and tried to roll it out, all I would do is push that dent forward on down the road. If I had it at a 45-degree angle and started rolling again, eventually it'd push out off to the side and I've got a flat surface. So that's the best example I can give on that. If you have to park your roller on the asphalt, put it at a 45-degree angle. Oops, I think I missed one there. Last truckload of the day, spray down all your components with your approved release agent. Okay? Make sure that reason I say before the last truckload of the day is when that hot asphalt hits that release agent, it's going to slick the paver off very nicely, reducing the need for cleanup at night. The less cleanup you'll have, okay? As we started with a routine, let's end with a routine. Remove all the excess asphalt from your paver, clean and spray your components, run your conveyors and spray with that release agent just so nothing, when you start up in the morning, nothing is glued shut and you don't break a chain. Spray your auger chains and conveyor chains. Add fuel. Okay? Why are we adding fuel? Number one, so we'll be ready in the morning. Anybody else give me another reason? We're paving today in 100-degree weather. Tonight in Las Vegas, it's going to get down in the 40s. If I have a quarter tank of fuel, what's going to happen? There's going to be condensation in my fuel tank. I know I heard somebody say it out there. Condensation in your fuel tank, water in your fuel system is not a good thing. Okay? And also grease necessary parts. Add propane if you've got a propane screed. Okay? Transport. Always back your paver onto the trailer. Never let the screed touch the trailer, bump the trailer. That's your money. Your screed is your money. Treat it like your baby. Okay? Also, the reason I say that is a lot of today's Tier 4 engines are turbocharged. Okay? If you back your paver onto the trailer, in most cases, the exhaust is pointed toward the back. You're not forcing air down, causing that turbo to turn backwards, okay? And you'll lose your bearings in your turbo, okay? So back your paver on to your trailer. Preventative maintenance. This is for the other people, but I just want to bring it up. Make sure you have preventative maintenance guidelines. That's your life, okay? We're not like those lazy dirt guys, right? We're dealing with asphalt. Asphalt takes work, okay? Okay, almost done here. Bear with me. We'll get you out of here. Along with best practices, I wanted to throw in a few minutes about salesmanship. Okay? We'd like to think we're out saving the whales, right? But it's really all about money. We're here to make money. Okay, how do you get money? Repeat business. You know, advertisements can go a long ways, but what's the best kind of advertisement? Word of mouth. My neighbor used you. This company used you as a general contractor. I think you can trust this guy. That's where you make your profit. And how do you do it? By salesmanship. So let's talk about that a minute. Involve the customer in the process. Okay? He's got questions. He's not a paving guy. Okay? He might think he is. But he's got questions, especially if he's a homeowner or the general manager of a office complex or whatever, you know. Don't worry about the inspector. We don't care about him because he knows what's going on anyway. But the customer's got questions. You have answers. Now, I also want to warn you that you should designate one man to speak to the homeowner or whoever the person's in charge. Okay? That way, there's no miscommunication. Okay? I'm sorry, sir. You know, we'll pave your little boat ramp here for you. That's no charge. What? I didn't say that. You know, one person to talk to him so nobody says he said, she said. Okay? Respect the property. Okay? I'm on this job site right here. Again, this is for the other people. Okay? You've got rakes, shovels, lutes. You've got a pump diesel sprayer laying on this poor man's grass. Okay? Disrespectful. Same thing if you're in a business complex. These people are coming to work, okay? Respect their right to come to work and don't get in their way, okay? Make it a good experience for everybody, okay? Keep your trucks and machines clean. It's the first impression, okay? You can see like right here, our office car right here, everything looks good. Trucks look good. Paver looks good. Everything's professional. Follow up to make sure that the job's done to their satisfaction. Don't just leave the job. Make sure, Mr. Contractor or Mr. Customer, did we do everything that we said? Okay? Is there something else that you need for us to do? And by the way, refer us to if you wouldn't mind, like us on Facebook. Put a recommendation on our webpage. Okay? Your business depends on referrals and references. Okay, last slide. Here's 7 tips that I'm going to send you home with okay, that kind of sum everything up for your success, okay? Number one, have a crew meeting. This is communication. This makes everybody valuable, okay? Naming the work and time limits and traffic control. One thing I didn't mention that I want to warn you about is, everybody hires the new guy. We got the new guy, okay? He has no idea where asphalt comes from. In fact, all he thinks is there's a squirrel turning a cage inside of that paver, making it run. Okay, take this guy under your wing. It takes a lot of money to hire new employees. Okay, make sure that he's taken care of. He knows what his job is, and if he's got questions, ask him. Turn him into the next foreman of your company. Designate your operators. Utilize all your players. Know your players and their equipment, and make sure that they know what their job is, and most importantly, what their job is not. Okay? Lay out the job, easy money. Length, width, thickness equals the tonnage required, right? Call the plant. Know your tonnage required and communicate it. Know your trucks and your turnaround time. Number 5, check your equipment. Fill out your inspection reports, forms, and fix any abnormalities. Check fluids and gauges, reset your screeds, and inspect your tow points. Number 6, go back to basics. Pave by the numbers. Anybody know what I'm talking about here? Pave by the numbers. Does that ring a bell with anybody? It's a CAT term, and I think, go by and see those CAT guys. You don't know where their booth is? You hadn't heard of that company? Okay. Go by and see them and tell them the LeeBoy guy said, I want one of these cards. They may or may not have them. I'm not sure about paving by the numbers. Okay, this basically is going back to basics. You know what I'm talking about. There's 15 points right here. Heat the screeds, set the tow points, all the way down to pull off your starting reference. Basically what it is just go back to don't overthink it. Go back to the basics. Tell them that you would like to know more about paving by the numbers. It's a great program, okay? And the last one is inspect the job afterwards. Walk and ride your joints. Make a punch list before the customer does. That way he's not looking for things. Okay? And here's the one thing I want to leave you with is your challenge for this year. What I'm going to ask you to do is everybody in this room was not born into the paving business. You didn't fall out of the sky and become a paver operator. Somebody took you under your wing. You did? I see you laughing back there. You did? Okay. So anyway, somebody took you under your wing. I want you guys to take that guy under your wing and be a mentor, okay? Teach him what he needs to know about this industry. This is a great industry. One guy told me, you learn the asphalt business, you'll never want it for a job in your life, okay? But I want you to be that leader to that guy that wants to succeed, okay? If he doesn't want to succeed, there's nothing you can do for it. But if he's willing to work hard, I want you to be that mentor for him, okay? Fair enough. I hope you've learned something today. I hope you enjoy your time here in Las Vegas. If there's any questions that you have for me, my email was here. It's very easy, bhall@leeboy.com. Send me a message. Come see me. Thank you for coming.
Thanks a lot. Please do the evaluations. Again, like I said, they are very important to us. And everybody have a great night and keep Nevada green. Leave your money.